Good morning from the holler. Sitting here warming my ass up in the sun because, well, it got really cold last night. And it does. It's going to be getting that way. Got a new furnace, and I'm going to be putting that in. Not a new furnace, but it's a good used electric one. Another electric one, but this one has more than one. The last one had one coil, and when it clicked on, it drew 80 amps. It's cost me $500 a month for electricity. No good. Got a better one, and I'm also going to be supplementing with the motherfucker. Dump my coffee. Supplementing with a wood coal stove, which I should be getting here soon. I've had surprisingly little people ask why I bought such a piece of shit house in West Virginia, which when I was growing up, that would be the lowest of the low. But with age comes wisdom. When I finally decided I had to decide whether I was going to be on the road, stay on the road and keep on writing, or actually stop being on the road so I could spend some time painting. Painting outweighed writing by 100%. I don't like writing. It's just a pain in the ass. And I don't know if I liked it before, and it just got ruined because it was a job, but who the fuck knows? It was fun while it lasted, but this is better. So after being on the road and doing all that crazy shit for 10 some odd years, and just being a fucking drunk, I destroyed my credit. And I was never good at credit anyway. Never good at paying rent, never good at paying bills. Just not in my wheelhouse. So everything, my credit went left. I didn't care. I was slamming around the bike, having a good old time. So I never really had the urge to own a house. House, payments, insurance, all that kind of crap. I'm fine in a box in the middle of the woods or in a field or whatever. It doesn't matter. The simpler, the better. I'm a pretty simple guy. So when this opportunity came up, I actually bought the house for less than the price of a titled shovelhead. That's all the utilities on site, nothing hooked up, but had gas, a sewer system, septic system, and electricity. And I don't know if... Hey, Butters. Get out of here. I don't know if I knew how much work it was going to be, whether I would have done it. Just hauling garbage out was disgusting and horrible and not worth the price of admission. Like I've said before, 2.5 tons of diapers alone off the property. Fucking a month or two of constant bonfire just burning the shit that's out of here. The house was twice as big as it is now because I had this huge addition on it. If you go to my the first post on YouTube, it's the walkthrough of the house 2 years ago when I was optimistic, like I am now, but then I just didn't have any reason to be. So anyway, it's been a lot of work. The reason I got it was because of the riding in West Virginia. This is by far the best riding I've ever done. And it's right out my door. I mean, right over that hill right there, there's great riding. I'm pointing at a road. It's right there. Right there. It's up there a bit. And I got some acreage here. It's in a mining camp. It's a mining area. This is an old supervisor's house, and it's on stilts just so we can look over the railroad tracks at everybody else. Keep tabs on them. Being in a mining camp wasn't a good thing to be. You were kind of stuck. But anyway, so this was the supervisor house, which is just a better shack than the shacks they built across the street. It's 100 years old. It's horrible. Or it was. The reason I did it was because it was cheap. I don't have any payments. West Virginia doesn't really, where I am, doesn't really have any zoning. And they don't, there's no inspections for construction. I still live in America. So I could just do what I want, use parts, fiddle and fuck around at the house, just like I do with bikes. Just keep on fucking working on them. using used parts nobody else wants. I'm doing that with the house in Arizona. Arizona, that was a good place too. West Virginia allows me to do that. I've been working on this house for 2 years. The only thing I have had to get an inspection for was the electric, to have the electric turned on. And I'm, electric. I had to pull the old electrical system out here. Again, if you go to that first video, you'll see why. Got all, and then my electricity's safe. Everything's safe now. Hooked up to septic. The septic's still good. And I haven't hooked up to gas yet. I'm just doing electric and everything. Probably next year I'll hook the gas up. Probably, stove and stuff like that. But I had to lay down the law when I got in here. Meaning, because I got such a cheap price, there was a reason why somebody didn't want to live here. But that's because the holler had taken over the house here, the property. There was a thoroughfare. There was junk. People were just dumping and hanging out and using it as an intersection from one half of the holler to the other. So the first thing was to get rid of all those fucking people. And I did. Came in here with guns blazing, unloaded a clip into the ground, roughly. And anybody that came to my property, I just threatened them. And after about a year, it took about a year. After about a year, nobody says boo to me anymore. Got the crazy lady next door, but I don't even hear it. It's like having a dog barking. I just don't hear it. And by the time I do, I'm working on the other side of the house in the studio and stuff. So by the time I do hear it, she stops about 4 or 5. And any later than that, I just put headphones on. It's not really that bad. It just seems a lot worse than it is because it's sporadic. But be that as it may, lots of work to go in the house and the danger hut. But it's getting there. Each winter it gets better. This winter I'll be warm. Last two, not so much. More or less living in one room in the studio. The studio was the one room. It was rough, but it was cheap. Got a pretty good house now. Not great, but pretty good. And it's not costing me anything. I own it outright. I got a nice piece of property. Even though half of it's a hell, cardiac hell. But it's great. I love it here. My brother lives in Pennsylvania. My dad lives in Jersey. So it's pretty relatively close to every place I want to be. So I'll continue plugging along. And buying little pieces part by part. If you're enjoying what I'm doing, I'll put a link on the bottom. I have a Patreon page. You can become a Patreon, or you can, if you want to help support what I'm doing here. And I'm just making a living by painting, so jump on that Patreon. Anyway, so that's it. I figured I'd just give you a rundown on what's going on. And I'm dicking around right now. I'm pretty steady on the YouTube thing, but I don't know what I'm doing. But it seems to be getting a little bit of traction. And I know what direction I'm in. Whoa, earthquake. So, Patreon. Link down below in the description. And thanks for following along. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Welcome aboard. Later.